That's gaining more attention across Texas is the rapid growth of data centers that power AI. Supporters say these projects bring jobs and billions of dollars in investment, but critics worry about their impact on rural communities. In these past weeks, we've seen people across the state protesting to shut down these facilities. As we head into midterm elections, joining us now to discuss the issue and her vision for Texas is Democratic nominee Gina Hinojosa. Gina, thanks so much for being here.
It's my pleasure.
Gina, let's get started with a lot of people worry what these data centers might bring. And you've said Texans deserve a say in whether data centers are built in their communities. Given growing concerns about water shortages in rural Texas, what specific limits or protections would your administration put in place to ensure data centers don't compete with ranchers, farmers, and local residents for water?
Well, I've called on the governor to use his power. He has sole authority, sole power right now to stop the data center madness that is happening in Texas. Data centers are descending upon Texas land in our rural areas, especially because they are lured by the most generous tax breaks in the whole country that were signed into law by Greg Abbott. That has to end. He has said next session he'll work with the legislature to end them. But the result is that they're all trying to get their projects in under the wire. That's why it has to stop now. We cannot wait till next session. I have called on the governor to have a moratorium, a ban on the construction of new data centers, and to call into special session the legislature so we can put some real protections, especially on our rural communities where data centers are setting up with no rules. These are communities that have volunteer firefighters, volunteer EMS, and these massive data centers, hyperscale data centers are popping up that need all sorts of infrastructure that does not currently exist in these rural areas. So people, yes, should have a seat at the table to decide if and how these data centers come into their communities, because right now there are no rules.
Yeah, and Gina, kind of trying to get your perspective a little bit. If a data center would bring those jobs and the investment to a community, but also place that significant strain on the power grid, would you approve it or would you reject it?
No, the electricity has to be prioritized for the people of Texas. Water, electricity, we need those basic protections again for the people of Texas. People need to come first. Citizens need to come first in Texas. I don't have a problem with water being used for industry, electricity being used for industry. They have to pay their fair share, and we have to ensure that people are protected. And right now, those protections don't exist.
And Gina, last question for you. In a recent poll, you're about 3 points away in the race from Governor Greg Abbott. How do you plan to fill that gap and reach more Texans as we reach the home stretch here?
Yeah, we're going to be traveling all over the state, just like we are, and talk to Texans about my agenda. My agenda is to secure the American dream that I grew up understanding and believing with every part of my being, that if I worked hard, I could have a good life. If you worked hard, had a full-time job, you could afford your own home, you could afford to have a family, pay your bills, go on vacation, and retire with dignity. That American dream is out of reach. We achieved the American dream by saving Texas schools. We have too many schools shutting down, teachers walking away. We need to make sure we do everything in our power to wipe clean the corrupt vendor contracts that our money is going to, and use that money to pay our teachers to be amongst the highest paid in the nation, and put money in your pocket. I have rolled out a plan to send every Texas household $1,500 of their money, send the money back to the people who know how to better spend that money than government. Right now, the government is hoarding money and there is no trust. I don't trust the government. We are paying into a system that is working against us. Right now, the best thing to do to build that trust is send the money back to the people.
All right, Gina Hinojosa, thank you so much for joining us here on CBS 19 News.
Thank you.
Governor Greg Abbott says Texas regulators are taking action to keep the rapid expansion of data centers from driving up costs for consumers. New measures announced a few days ago would require data centers to pay for much of the infrastructure needed to connect to the power grid and reduce their energy use during emergencies. State leaders say the goal is to protect grid reliability, safeguard resources, and ensure Texas families are not left footing the bill as the AI industry continues to grow.